Hey y'all, welcome to the Style Chronicles. I thought I would share with you guys how I create this face look. It is a very simple, very easy, little bit of a cat eye eyeliner. It's not extremely winged, it's just more of a little triangle at your outer corners than anything, but it is beautiful and it's so simple and fresh for every day. I mean, you could wear it everywhere, or you could dress it up for nighttime. I love this look with a bright red lip or bright orange lip. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. This is kind of a look that I took from Emma Stone. She's been in so many movies recently, you know, the Spider-Man and all these just films that I've seen her in. And my husband's always like, oh, I like her eye makeup. Her eye makeup is so pretty. And then she was on the cover of several of my magazines. And once again, my husband was like, oh, her eyes, I like how she does her eyes with the liner. So I got to hair up my, a wild hair and went out and got the Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner, and with my Coastal Scents Bentliner brush, you can see how it's bent. I have tried over several weeks to recreate it, and this is kind of the look that I have come to love. I've been wearing it for about 3 weeks now, on and off. Usually I'll wear it like 2 or 3 days in a row, and then I'll just do my smoky eye one morning, but this is actually easier for me now to create than my smoky eye, which I absolutely love, and that's the look that I go with half the time. But this one is so simple. It's just 2 eyeshadows that you're just blending onto the lid. You can see you just contour a little bit with a, you know, contour shade, and then just liner, and it's nothing. I mean, there's nothing to it. The best thing about this is skin. You have to make your skin look its absolute best, and for that I use the True Match LUMI, which is just very luminous. It gives my skin a very good, very pretty glow. It looks very dewy. That's something that Emma Stone is really, that is something that Emma Stone is very well known for, her beautiful skin, and then she's got, you know, just a very simple eye going on all the time. A lot of the magazines she's featured with like a red lip or an orange lip, so that pop of color with the simplicity of the eyeshadow or the eye look, and you know, just healthy skin looks gorgeous. So stay tuned and I will show you how I achieve this look. You can adapt it, use whatever colors you have in your collection to make it wearable for yourself. Remember that I have a very different kind of eyelid shape. I don't have a very defined crease, so if you have one, you're very lucky and you don't have to create it the way that I do. If you don't have one and you have an eyelid like mine, then you can create it this way. It's very simple to do. It just takes, you know, a little bit of blending and that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to put my foundation on with my buff brush, the Real Techniques buff brush. This is the L'Oreal True Match LUMI foundation. And I just pump some of that onto my brush, and then I get it onto my face in certain areas. Well, was not expecting that. Okay, and I make sure and get it underneath my under eyes, and then I just buff it into my skin. Same thing on this side. Make sure I get it on the center of my nose and then under my nose. This is someplace that I always forget, and it's just this right here, because I'll go down the sides of my nose, under my eyes, like that, and then I'll go from here with my mouth, and then when I get in the car, I'm like, wow, I completely forgot this area. It's just crazy that I always do that. Okay, and then I'm just buffing here. And I know people say that it looks like I'm attacking my face with a brush when I do this. This brush is so soft, so gentle, that I promise you there's no way you could attack your face. I'm just buffing like this, very fast though. So I'm making small circles, but very, very fast. Into your skin. And on your eyelid. And this foundation is very buildable. It's not completely, like, it doesn't completely cover everything, but it covers it enough for me. So I guess it's like a medium. coverage, but I like it for every day. I think it's perfect. Okay, and then you just want to make sure that you don't have any areas on your face that need more or that need to be buffed out, so no lines or anything. And if you get lines, like I get lines where I pull, I go back and I just tap and it blends it like into my skin very nicely. So that is me concealed, or not concealed, but with my foundation on. I feel better now. Okay, next I'm going to take for everyday my CoverGirl concealer. It's just the Fresh Complexion CoverGirl concealer, and I'm going to put it underneath here. And I kind of piled this on in a little V shape. Looks like a triangle, not really a V because I fill it in. I pile it on because I like a very concealed look. And then I have to leave it because this concealer is very wet when you first apply it. So I have to leave it so that it will build up right there and just conceal. If I was to pat it out, blend it out right now, it's very sheer. And I like a very heavy concealed look. So I usually leave it for a couple of minutes while I do my eyebrows. And for my eyebrows, I'm just going to brush them up like so. And then I'm going to take an eyebrow pencil. This is the one I use right now. It's the YBF, Your Best Friend. One side has a brush, spoolie, and the other side has this. And this is like Universal Taupe. When I run out of this one, I think I'm going to get the MAC Lingering one. I'm not exactly... I mean, I could like do without this one. Or I feel like it's replaceable, rather. So I just kind of go into my brows and I follow them, but I also have to, you know, I try to make them the same. So from here, I always start up here at the top of my brow, like on top of it, and I go up and then I bring it. You can see where I kind of created that. I mess up a lot when I do my brows. And then I go down here and go underneath my brow to create a stronger brow. And then if I mess up, because I haven't set my foundation yet, I can go back in and just kind of take it off a little bit with that foundation brush. And I do the same thing on the other side. Just drawing that top portion on. And then I go underneath. Like so. Now, I know that these are completely different, and I want to make them a little bit more even, but I'm working to make sure the outside of my brow looks okay right now. I always look like a hot mess when I do this. Now that they're nice and uneven, I take the spoolie and I just kind of make sure that that works into the brow. And I do the same thing on this side. Just to kind of mesh it with the skin. And this is how I create a very strong brow. I'll tone it down in a minute. Don't worry, it's not finished yet. Okay, now I know I went a little too crazy here, and a little too crazy here. And I just rub it away, and then I take my foundation brush with foundation on it, and I can go on top of the brow and clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up. Okay, now I'm going to take my MAC Wedge, which I have in a little, it's this one right here. This is the one I use for my brows specifically all the time. And I'm going to take my brow brush, and I'm just going to get powder on there, and I'm going to fill the rest of my brow in. This also sets that pencil, so anytime you do a powder on top of a pencil, it just helps that pencil adhere and stay put throughout the day. Okay, now for my concealer, I'm going to get my concealer setting brush and get some powder on it. I'm just using the Coty Airspun, and I'm going to tap that concealer into place. Just pat it down. I'm not really moving it around my face. I'm just patting it into place where it is so it's blended out. And then I will pat this powder on top to set it into place. And then I will do the same thing on the opposite side. Making sure that it's all blended out. And then pat that into place. Like so. Okay. Next, I'm using two blushes right now. The first one is Laura Gellar's Blush and Brighten and Honey Dipped. I got this in a Birchbox a long time ago and hated it. I really did not like it, but I just kept it. I just recently started using it underneath my pink blush, and I think it looks very nice. I just go along here. I keep it kind of in my contour because it is a darker blush. And you can see right there where it just kind of contours my face a little bit. It's nothing too dramatic. It's actually a little better on me than bronzer because bronzer is always so dark. This is just a little bit, you see what I did there? I just kind of carve it out a little bit. I don't know, it just works for me in my skin tone. Whereas as a blush, it really just makes me look muddy. I don't know, I don't like the way it looks as a blush. But as a semi-contour powder, I actually like it. So there it is. You can see how it's really, really brown. And it's got some bronze in it too. But I really don't understand how it's blush and brightened it. I've never understood that. Okay, MAC Pink Swoon Blush is what I put onto the apples of my cheeks, and my rule is just the width of this back, so from here back is where sorry, I have alarms set because I'm used to taking my daughter to school in the mornings, and I have alarms that keep us on track, so they go off randomly. Okay, and then I go up my temples as usual, and I do the same thing on the opposite side, remember, just from there back. So here, back, and then I bring it up a little onto my temple. Okay. And you can see already how that foundation, you can see the luminosity that it's giving my skin in here. Remember, I haven't put any highlight on at all, and I'm not going to because I don't need it with this foundation. I just love it for that reason. Now I'm going to set everything with one of my Real Techniques brushes, and I'm just going to take that Coty powder and I'm going to set with that. I love this Coty powder for every day. For setting, you know, my makeup every day. Now, if it's Smashbox or a different kind of foundation, I would use a different powder. Although I tend to use this to set all the time, and then I finish with a different powder. It's just dependent. So you will notice that I bronzed or contoured and put my blush on while my foundation was still wet without setting it, that powder adheres to that foundation a little bit more and stays throughout the day if I do it that way. So then I'm just powdering over all of that to set. And then my brows, I buff them out this way so that they tone down a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to put, of course I got powder all over my shirt. I tend to do this before I get dressed, so I never get powder on my clothes. Great. Okay, now for concealer, my eyes. I'm going to take the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. I'm not sure how you say it, Lorac. And I'm going to get that onto my finger, like so. You can see how it is just skin colored. I love that. There's nothing to it. It feels like you're wearing absolutely nothing on your skin. I'm going to blend out any concealer I have on my lid first. Then I'm going to take that, I'm going to put a dot of it here and a dot of it there. And then I'm just going to blend that into my skin. Same thing on this side. Okay. And I'm going to take MAC's Mylar Eyeshadow, and I'm going to get that onto a large brush. This shadow is satin. It's just beautiful on the skin. It just looks like skin, but it gives your skin a little bit of a sheen. Okay, and that's going to go directly onto my lid, like so. And I love to get it right in here. Like it just brightens your eye. Okay, same thing on the other side. And then right in here where I love to get it. Okay. Next, I'm going to take that Wedge, sorry, that's Rule, this is Wedge, that you saw me use for my eyebrows, and I'm going to take my MAC 217, and I'm just going to dab it into it, and then I'm going to close my eye, and right where my socket line should be, or where yours is, you're going to go into the socket line and just lightly, just kind of shade it. And you can see how it's very light, it's very faint. You really can't tell that I've done anything, but there is a difference in the appearance of my eyelid. So it's there, but it's, not too noticeable. Can you see that? I did it a little darker so you can see it on purpose. Okay. And that just kind of helps give my eyelid a little bit of depth when it's open. Same thing on the opposite side. Sometimes you just have to keep working it back and forth until it looks the way you want it to look. So I did this one a little darker because I wanted you guys to be able to see. So now I need to do this one a little darker. And in my socket line, you can do like a windshield back and forth like this, or you can just do little circles. I do little circles, that's why you don't even barely see my brush moving, because I just do these little bitty circles. Okay. And then once you get it to look, does it look the same? This one. To look the same, I'm going to take my MAC pencil brush and go with the same wedge color right underneath my lower lashes. I don't know why I can't do this without making the whole fish face. That's, I don't know. Okay. And I'm just going to take a very big fluffy brush, this is a Coastal Scents one, and make sure that this is just blended in as much as I can get it blended in. Same thing on this side. You just want it very, very blended, almost, barely noticeable. And you can also do this with the new, the Urban Decay Basics palette. I just got that, and I've only actually used it 2 days. I've swatched it a million times, but I've only used it on my lids twice. And you could use Faint very lightly with Naked 2 all over the lid, and then your highlight shade. Okay, now I'm just brushing my eyebrows up and out of the way, and I'm going to brush away any excess. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with Maybelline eyeliner and the pencil that I was telling you guys about, and it's just a Bentliner, and it's called the Bentliner pencil. It's by Coastal Scents, but you can find these really anywhere. It's just a straight, but it has that bent tip, and that bent tip with this brush is how I can create my wing easier, or easily, more easily than I would be able to without it. And I just get my brush in there, I swirl it around so that it gets product on it, and then I take this little tip, and you will see that I put the bent part underneath my lower lash line, and wherever that ends up, that's where my line's going to be, so I press it like that. Okay, so that's where that line is going to be. And I do the same thing on the other side. I press, and that's where that line is going to be. And they are always exactly where I want them. Now, I don't go beyond that, because if I do a very big liner, it doesn't look very pretty on me. It looks a little fake. So just from there, that tip, I color in, and you can bend, your brush to have the angle however you need it in order to get into that lash line. And if you've noticed, I've already done the little wing. It's more of like a triangle. This one, I did get a little makeup on my lid. Trying to get that off. I got a little dot of it. A little dot that I don't want there. Okay, so it's like a little triangle that I've created on my outer lid, and this one needs to be connected. Same thing on this side, a little triangle. Okay, and then I just get more liner, and I keep the line on my actual lid very, very faint, very small. With this brush, it's not difficult to do. and I don't go in all the way because it makes my eye look extremely small. Okay, that's as far as I bring it in, and then I connect this wing on the outside in, and I just draw a line from here in like that, and the same thing on this side. Simply bring this wing onto my lid like so, and then you just clean it up. And this liner does not go anywhere throughout the day. It stays. Okay, now I just kind of brought that line in a little bit just to connect it to my lid, and you can see where I did that. Like so. And then the same thing on the other side. And then just make sure your line looks pretty. Sorry, I'm just straightening out my line. Okay, so there we go. And it's easy for me with the Bentliner to just find where to place that wing at, or to extend my lower lash line at with this, and then, you know, just a very thin line. Now you could do, if you have the eye space for it, a very heavy wing liner, so you know your liner would be very thick on your lid. Mine, like I said, has to be very, very thin because it's just too overpowering for my eye shape if I do it the other way. Okay, next I'm going to put some mascara on. I just think it looks so weird to watch somebody put their mascara on, don't you think? It's just kind of odd. You have to watch them make those weird faces. Okay, here's my mascara. Or my mascara. I like the way the British say it. I have such itty bitty eyelashes, I can't stand them. That's why I love to wear my false lashes. But for every day, and honestly, this does not take me 25 minutes to do in my bathroom. I don't know why, it always takes me so much longer. I guess because I'm talking. It always takes me so much longer to do makeup on camera than it does when I'm just by myself getting dressed. You can barely see my lashes, barely. Okay, down here. Okay, so that would be my finished everyday look. And then of course you would add lipstick or whatever color lipstick, lip gloss you'd like. I think this look, it's that whole little Emma Stone cat eye kind of look. I think it looks best with a very bright lip, so I love like an orange pop. I'm going to do it with just Bitten lip balm. I keep this right here next to my camera in case I need lipstick when I film. So half the time, this is what I have on my lips, only because it's there. And, you know, whatever lipstick I've worn that day is usually in my bag, in my purse, or in my bathroom. And I don't want to have to run across the house. Okay, no, see, that's too washed out. Okay, it looks way better with a bright lip, a really bright lip. So this is the finished look, I can't talk today, the finished look. I do need to clean up a little bit because I made a little bit of an error right there. But overall, it's just very easy to do, and it's very simple, and it's a very pretty look. It looks fresh all the time. And then with that Magic LUMI foundation, it's just gorgeous. I love that. The glow that this gives you, it's just absolutely beautiful. You see that? I would turn the light off. You can see it better. Turn the light on. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.